Hey guys, it's Parker here, back with part 19 of the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. So this episode marks the day where I'll record once for 1 hour, and then I'll put into two parts for Tuesday and Thursday. So yeah, these episodes will be 30 minutes each. And on Saturday, I will upload Triangle Strategy. So hopefully that is okay with y'all. I just decided to do this because I really wanted to play Triangle Strategy. So yeah, let us continue the game. Naruhodo, I hope you keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been. Oh no, I mean if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born. Yes, I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly, it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too. Oh yes, Susato-san hinted at something like that. Yeah... Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I've become rather less dependable than befits a grown man, and it was then that Seishiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind, so perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not really afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. Ah, one other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you. Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you? Well, the thing is, I'm so sorry that took so long, Mrs. Sato. Now then, allow us to take your bags. Allow me to take your bags! One moment, if you please, Porter. Of course, sir. Oh, didn't I see this guy somewhere before? That machine around your neck, it's a camera, I believe? Oh, quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Ah, yes, of course. Oh, the picture is so cute. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Miss Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then, but we were interrupted before. What was the favor he was gonna ask? Professor Mikoto was about to ask you something. Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Aris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Yes, let's go. I'm getting more anxious and more anxious about Kazuma though. Because you're thinking about him all the time, Ryonosuke. So fruity. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Sar later and ask after him. Alright. Off we go. New location has been added. Great Waterloo Hotel. Guess we'll go to Sholme's suite first. Wee! What was that? A man screaming in the most unflattering way. Do you think... could it have been Mr. Sholmes? I don't know, there's little dots on the... okay, never mind. I don't do it anymore. Mon ami, stop this disgraceful display, huh? I'm sorry, I can't do French. Look at her hair, it's bright red. I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Right, you two, you're coming with me now, down to the clink. No, not in prison. It's damp and dark and I don't like it. Boff, see darkness, it is my friend. I am not scared. What? Wait, but you're always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. We'll sit quietly in this dark and plan our next daring haze. Wait, I like this. I don't like it. Well, tough. We'll finish this down in the yard. Now get moving. Bye then, Ginny. Have fun. What is going on here? Oh yeah, thanks Iris, and thanks, you great detective. Oh my god, it's just like two people sobbing. Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Bruno. Hello Iris, we're home. Well, did you find your daddy? I'm sorry. I should not be immature. Yes, did you find your dad? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well, that's great news. I hope I get to see my daddy again soon. Yes, of course. We can't tell her that her dad is dead. So Iris, all that remains now is that great is the promise known to man. Why is your hair? But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe something is in order, don't you, my dear fellows? Why is... Did you dye your hair? Is something wrong, Mrs. Naruhodo? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Even your eyebrows are dyed. Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say, and your eyebrows. Come along then, everyone, and brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever is going on here today, and there's Kazuma's mask on the table. In that case, let us sit and drink now, for I am, in fact, expecting guests later today. Okay, Sholme, what is going on here? Mr. Sholme, who are the two gentlemen that were here before? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals, nothing of significance. Of course, they out to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions. When the mood takes you? All manner of infractions? But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholme, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my, you're the target of a crime, Mr. Sholme? But I quickly devised a plan to trap them and deliver them to our young detective ally. You should have asked Gracie to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consumingly in the wrong place at the wrong time. Just a word for it, I'm sure. Aha! I have it! A bungler! That's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So, those redheads have been up to no good? I wonder what the man did. What's the greatest problem? What was about the greatest problems known to man that you mentioned before? Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholme? How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere, possibly. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. According to this author, Mr. Darwin, we humans are once apes who lived in the treetops. Wait, what? We are apes? Yeah, that's why we have tailbones. Indeed, and for the very moment those apes decided for a canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man. Our lot? Well, what is this great problem, Mr. Sholme? Why, it's not obvious, my dear madame. The problem of rent! But, did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuspel's only the other day? Pshaw! A large sum? One potted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and all of it has quite disappeared, I'm sure. Why did you buy a freaking car, excuse me? Honestly, Hurley, you know you squandered it. Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem for the coming months at least. And what was the answer? Why, there's a substantial clue before your very eyes. You mean the mask on the table? Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what is in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. You mean your hair? There's one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think. In the end, it's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation. Oh my god, Sholme. I think you might need another clue before I uncover the full answer, Miss Naruhodo. Do we? Oh, thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this cherry goes on much longer. Oh boy. Mr. Sholme, it's about time you told us the truth. Just over a week ago, he said to us. Oh yeah. About the professor. And Kazuma. That case aboard the SS Buria in January, Kazuma was killed, and you know he wasn't dead at the time, so what was really going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew, but how? After they carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. Why did you do this? Oh, how horrible. It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course, but why? Why do in the first place? I'll be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong. Oh. I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Were you trying to protect Kazuma? Is that what's going on? Mr. Sholme. Well, I did want to examine the mask on the table. the elephant in the room. The mask Kazuma wore when he was assigned to Lord Van Zeeks as his apprentice. When he cast his eye out the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. Oh. We ought to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn out and tell me coldly to wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? I think Kazuma's like a very blunt person. I do like this fireplace. It was the best things I've seen since we arrived in the country, in fact. Although, I do yearn for a Japanese kotatsu. Putting your legs on a warm blanketed table is so comforting. Do be careful, Miss Naruto. Don't mistakenly put your feet into the fire, will you? You suffer terrible burns, you know. I worry sometimes about how Susanna sees Cece. She probably just sees you as kind of dumb. Move to some new locations. Oh yeah, we did want to see Kazuma, so let's go here. Here's the final draft for the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented the original with the figures you asked for the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. We kind of sound similar, don't we? Yes, but just ignore it. It's just one person doing all this. Oh, okay. What's Lord Van Zeeks doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension air. What did you say? This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. My apologies, I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress makes you all but invisible to me. Oh, no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure. For now, I must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord, I'm right here. Kill me now. Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature. It's really nice here. If you're sure, the bees are carving their way down your face seems to suggest otherwise. Because the daggers are staring at me with mainly. As you know that aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madame. Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited. I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands, then Lord Van Zieks. I will attend at once. Bye! He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he? I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I? I think Van Zieks just has a resting bitch face, okay? Like, he's always like that. These past few days, my feet has barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out action in spectacular fashion. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still in service? Why, how did your right hand get disabled? Mr. Narhot, oh, he's talking about Dr. Science. Oh, whoops, I didn't know. Of course. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just, doing my job. Fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Science's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. Lord Van Zieks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though, disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Oh, missing... What's becoming... Whoops, sorry, I can't read today. What's becoming about Kazuma-sama now? Talk? Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million. 30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? Yeah, seriously, just a lot more than 30 million. As a comparison, Ms. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital Tokyo is 2 million. I'll be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making, 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries. It sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations. The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques and cooperation between policing organizations around the globe would be essential, which is why this landmark first symposium had to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. He's the same as ever, I see. The passion of this is quite something. You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you, Susato. I am the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So, the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. The forensic investigation team. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with Dr. Sykes at the helm. It was suddenly occurring an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I say. Unintended repercussions of our trial. We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened though. Because a freaking murder took place. Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policy when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. Okay. About Lord Van Zieks' apprentice? Yes, it came as a surprise to me, I say, that you and he are old friends. How did you become an apprentice to Lord Van Zieks in the first place? It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel. Oh my, so he stowed away to get here. He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zieks, that way I could keep an eye on him. But then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord Vansick's tiresome explanations about why I had an Eastern apprentice. Because it would be so much easier, whoops, to explain why he was wearing a mask. He's proven to be a great help to Lord Vansick's. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being. Oh, I take it you also didn't know that the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Oops, my, Genshin Asogi. What we learned from the trial 8 days ago was a huge shock, finding out my friend's father was, yes, Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain. There were such awful murders and unprecedented, using your furious dog as a murder weapon. And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, it can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London. The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand. Correct, however. It has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed anyway. Right, I see, but it was still murder, wasn't it? It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey. Okay, excuse me, Sholmes. I guess I'll examine the freaking newspaper. This looks like last week's edition. What's that article circled in red ink there? It's an advertisement column. It says, "To the Redheaded League." The Redheaded League? What's that? I don't know. I never heard of it before, but... Is something on my face? Clearly, it has something to do with that lively hair. I guess we should read the newspaper and then present it to Sholmes. Get €4 per week if you're a redhead? What? Why? It looks as if someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes. Surely it's not you. To the Redheaded League? Does it strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. I'm sorry, that's funny to me. So, at last you learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry. In the first instance, and quite indispensable observation. Believe me, I could have seen that red hair with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? Okay, talk the Redheaded League. So what is the Redheaded League, which seems to be the subject of advertising circled? You noticed it in the paper then? That, my dear fellow, is going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was? How? According to the advertisement, the Redheaded League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me. But listen to what lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary, £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week? But why? What are they paying people for? That I don't know. No details are given in advertising. This is very fishy, Sholmes. But surely every redheaded person in the country would be flocking to join in that case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put in my application at once. So will I. Just on the off chance. That might be stretching a point, I think. The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see. Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people join, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes. So you decided to try to join his place? Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mrs. Naruhodo, though it pains me to admit it. Your blunder? What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes? He dyed it. I'm glad you asked, Mrs. Zato. What do you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece. What? I changed the color of my hair overnight, but the wonders of chemistry. Chemistry? I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves, and in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one hair a flame-like red. Would you like to try? It'll make every hair in your body perfectly crimson. I think I'll pass. I like my black hair, thank you very much. But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? Amateurs are always hampered by such fears. Oh, I should never have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say? But of course. To earn £4 per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. That degree of reticence is more than just a little danger, surely. So anyway, Hurley left full of happiness yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Live Street, where the Redheaded League were interviewing prospective new members. So what went wrong? The whole park was choked with red-headed folk, like a coast's orange barrel. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front, but when the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, are you disguised to conduct an investigation? So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." But after which, I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned up hair into the police? Oh my god. Oh dear, what a disaster for Hurley and just two redheads. Aha! Here is my guest now, my latest client with money to spend. Oh, I do hope it's a exciting case, Hurley. Remember, Iris, we are a present group by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Sable, kidding, or runaway, of course. What if that's the case, though? Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you? Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due. Huh? Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, please, oh please. Please find my husband, he's run away. Of course it's a runaway case. To upset me? I beg your pardon. Never mind, a personal matter, my apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mrs. Naruhodo? I didn't say a word. Come, my dear madame, be seated. Iris, some tea, please. Of course. What's the matter, Mrs. Zato? Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. Yeah, she was one of the jurors. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before, very recently. Yes, now you come to mention it. She's the juror number 2. As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Virgil. Virgil? I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object, simply name your figure. Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madame. Sure. Being offered a case to solve is reward enough. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you are the picture of benevolence. I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you remember your words also. If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be... Oh, me? What I am about to tell you, I would like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand. These are my friends, I assure you. You may say before despair anything which you may say to me. I see. I can vouch for the gentleman, personally, after all. He's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? Alright, Converse. Mrs. Vigil. Forgive me for asking, Mrs. Vigil, but have we met someone before? Quite recently, perhaps? Oh my, psh, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly I have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite a lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion. No, I'm not hitting on her. We actually met each other. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer for the trial I attended last week? Ah, I knew I recognized her. Yeah, she was juror number 2. I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now. Probably because her husband is missing. It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer, being hard of hearing, I mean. Pardon? Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery, really, nothing more. Now look what you started, Mr. Sholme. Thank you very much. Now she thinks I'm deaf. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. Tell us about your husband, madame. Mr. Vigil, my dally is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here. An entirely unremarkable gentleman by appearance at least is so mean. How long have you been married? It will be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably. As it will appear, I need only look at you to know these things. You have a lot of gems. Oh gosh. Your dress is the latest style. Your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might disappear, correct? Or maybe he just, like, ran off? I don't know. That's right, he's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and rather thoughts on me. I mean, who wouldn't thought on you? Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other. Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholme. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will? What exactly is your husband's line of work? He's a warder at the prison. A guard? That's somewhat unusual. Would that give a lot of money? A prison warder? So, your husband is a prison warder. That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder. Oh, that explains the money. Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation. Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband was prepared those dreadful punishments, and see that they're carried out. Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishments? And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors. Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at which prison is your husband engaged? Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes. Of course it is. Really? Barclay? Oh, fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there's a large cemetery just behind it. Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery. Oh my god, where the professor was murdered. Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, my dear fellow, and yet undeniable. Sorry, Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid you lost me. Pay no heed, madame, pay no heed, a private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? Your husband's disappearance? So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance, when did you realize he was missing? Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday. I'm sorry, yesterday? That really is recent, laughably so. The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night, but this is different. For him not to make any contact for a whole day. That's certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Dally, whatever could have happened? My dear Mrs. Fisher, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police? Why, naturally, but sadly, they refuse to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for 1 day. I was asked to wait patiently at home. In truth, Mrs. Fisher, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why you should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down in any way. I need the money for my rent. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholme. And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I see Goni put a sweet smile and another London's face. That's really all there is to it. Sure, Sholme. You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention. You seek only to put the sweet's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. Thank you for everything you shared with us, Mrs. Fisher. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation. Oh, please report to me with good news, sir. Sorry, I can't read today. Fear not, madame. In a day or two, I should be contacting you with a hearty report, I'm quite sure. So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholme. Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you'll be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. Okay. Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door. I want to examine this. The way Sholme's just an unremarkable man. I'm just gonna like magnify his nose and mouth. Ooh. The eyebrows. Just magnify the eyebrows. Ooh. Okay. I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholme. You've been simply marvelous. Bye, pretty lady. You know, I think it every time, Hurley. But how should you come out with such nonsense? Good news is in a day or two? Are you sure? I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely give the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of day tomorrow. But if by the time of successfully locating Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Don't look at me with those pleasing eyes. Pleading eyes. Oh my god, he's like very desperate now. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. I'm not deaf. Excellent. And what did you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you noted that. Of course, especially the mentioned Lowgate Cemetery. Yep. That's where the previous case was. Barclay Prison is where the notorious man was incarcerated. The professor. And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, quite certain, Miss Naruhodo. I guess the prison warder was part of covering up the professor case. And then now that Dr. Seiss is like out of the picture, like I guess people who covered up the professor case is like, okay, like you come with us now. I actually have no idea what is going on so far. I can't possibly go out with this hair. But didn't you go to Lion Street with that hair? That was quite a different matter. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you excuse me, I'm rather busy. Wow, okay. Just gonna dump your work on us, I see. Of course you are. Okay. A new location has been added. Prison governor office. Okay, let's go here.